he really wanted, he encouraged women to be standing when they gave birth, because his observations of women laboring in Africa and being in a squat, and that made it easy. But he said, you know, where I work in this hospital in France, women don't grow up squatting, so I'm not going to ask them to squat deeply. I'm going to hold them up and let them be in a standing squat so that it's much more open for them and less compressed. So he was an advocate for that, and then he had met a woman named Marie-Louise O'Shea, who was a retired opera singer who studied the influence of sound on pregnancy. And so Marie-Louise O'Shea used to come and have singing classes in the maternité in Pithiviers for everybody. It was all the women who were like maybe in early labor, women who were coming for their prenatal visits, the staff. Everybody would just come in and sing. And then he had yoga at the clinic too. So that for me kind of really, okay, you know, yoga and then my own personal meditation practice were it. And then and I had been to India to study with the Iyengar family, and then we came back to the States and opened up a yoga center in Rochester. But then I stayed with pregnant women, but my own curiosity drove me to ask questions a little bit similar to what you were talking about. It was like, yoga. Is the most important point actually to be like in the performance of it, to be, you know, doing these extreme poses? Because some people would walk in and they would be able to do some things without really thinking about it. And you could see it wasn't really, nothing was landing for them. And then other people, I remember it actually was a retired fireman with a very thick body who came into yoga, and the smallest things would open up his face. And I could see that he was really practicing. And so I got more and more curious about, well, what are the ways to help people connect to themselves in a very meaningful way that actually allow for change rather than kind of going along with the exercise of it. So 30 years ago, I started studying the field of somatics and began to, that really influenced me and changed also the way that I worked with women preparing for birth. And so at one point, I'm old now, so I get to accrue my accomplishments, but I did some very serious study with women at the frontier. Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen and Emily Conrad, who founded Continuum Movement, and I'm a Continuum Movement teacher. And I went back to sound and how women really learning how to have a sound practice could help them connect more with their limbic brain and train for the unstructured mind of labor, which can sometimes be described as kind of like a free fall. And then how do you learn how to relate to that for a sustained period of time? How do you have the concentration for that? And so I really, I spent many years in here in Los Angeles working with Continuum Movement, doing less and less yoga, but doing yoga when people needed more structure, and then layering in more unstructured work. And Pam England became, who I'm a close mentee of, she supported me a lot in working with women as a journey of initiation in different series. So I've put a lot of time in on the drawing board and had such an amazing time, and with really being in the trenches with women, particularly over that whole arc of pregnancy, labor, and then the first 2 years. And I still have a mother's group that's been meeting with me for 5 years, and that we meet every 2 weeks. And my resources for self-care are my own somatic practice, and then my long-time Buddhist practice. But I also, my kids are like 34 and 37 and 43, so I finally got to go back to horses. And so I spend a lot of time. I have 2 horses, and I
Which I think is
a lot.
also a great childbirth education. So I've sent clients to Deborah to go do childbirth education with her at where her horses are.
Wow.
Because, in labor we're always like, oh, I would just show you